My name is Scott.
I'm Crystal, and we've been together for 10 months.
I'm Alana.
I'm Matt, and we've been together for almost 18 months.
My name is Selena.
My name is Trey, and I've been dating Selena since February of 2019.
How did we meet?
What Pomona does is called Orientation Adventure. It's basically a trip that all the first years go on before the start of the school year to kind of get to know each other. So we went on the same trip to the lake.
Yeah, I believe your first words to me were, I really like your laugh.
And there's a reason behind that because Matt's laugh, it kind of sounds like when you're like cleaning a window really hard and like it's I mean, there's no way to explain it right now, but yeah.
We had a long weekend, and I remember we were sort of Facebook messaging at that point. So I remember texting Scott, and I was like, are you free? Like, do you want to come down to my room to chat? And I like put my phone face down. I like gave it to my friend, and I was like, you're not allowed to let me look at Scott's response. But like, you ended up showing up in my room. And I think you like came over around 9, and we just like talked the entire time.
And I remember I ended the session with a pickup line that I thought was going to be like intellectual suicide, but apparently you liked it. I said, in chemistry, we learned that the zeroth law of thermodynamics is that the most elegant thing in the world is a crystal. Which is true, that the zeroth law of thermodynamics is a crystal at 0 Kelvin has 0 entropy, which in layman's terms is a crystal is the most beautiful thing in the world.
We started dating because I did a little thing. Do you remember the thing I did?
Oh, yeah. Basically, I had gotten out of ballroom practice and he was already in my room because he was always in my room first year. And I had this little hook where I would put my keys whenever I walked into my room. And so next to the keys was a little note, and it was like clue number 1. And so then this like elaborate scavenger hunt started in my room, and it was the sweetest thing because it was just like all these little memories from us hanging out or doing fun things. Like when he fell in the crevice between the wall and my bed, like there was a clue in there.
Yeah, forgot about that.
Lots of like lots of little things. And so the last question was like, do you want to be my girlfriend? And I was like, yes.
What was it like to find out we were going to be separated?
Definitely a bummer. Definitely not preferable. I definitely remember you seemed to be in a state of passive panic where you, even though you were standing in place, I could see your face had turned like bright red, and you were talking in like a quick voice, like, I'm not stressed, I'm not panicking, but the context and your abnormal body language suggested you were.
I think honestly I was just really, really sad because I've just been like, I've been going through a lot this year, and so having Trey there as support has always been like what's been able to ground me. So not having him anymore was definitely really scary in a way.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm like tearing up like thinking about it. But yeah, I was very sad. He definitely had to comfort me a lot in the airport because I was crying.
What's the hardest moment as a couple since being apart?
Once your stomach really hurt, and I just felt like there was nothing I could do about it. Being apart is kind of hard because when the other person needs something, there's nothing I can do except be on a call.
I think that the hardest moment as a couple since being apart has definitely been more on my end because sometimes I just feel like I can't express myself as well as I would want to because we're not together, and because I don't want to like feel like a burden a lot of the times, which is, I know it's not true, but you know, it's in the head. Do you ever worry about me getting COVID-19?
Is it okay to share a little bit?
Yeah.
Her mom actually tested positive, and you know, they're in the apartment together, and so Selena and her sister both tested negative. So you know, they're doing well so far, but they are in pretty close proximity to someone who has COVID.
I mean, thankfully my mom is okay though. No worries, she's good. Yeah. And of course I'm like scared of getting it, but I try to wear my mask literally every second of the day when I'm out of this house. So I try to do my best.
Is it worth the inconvenience of long distance to date?
Is it worth it? Of course. I think this relationship is extremely fulfilling, happiness inducing.
She's a great support system in my life right now. Even more reason to have her here. I don't want to be farther apart. I want to be closer together. Sure, it's like waiting is hard and it's hard to be apart, but I mean, it's worth it, right?
I think Trey and I have talked a lot about how we feel about our relationship and where our relationship is heading. So I don't think that it's inconvenient to do long distance to continue dating, just because we both love each other a lot.
Something that I always remember is that my parents actually for like 5.5 years, like long distance, and with like a yearly visit between California and Japan at the time when like there was like no texting, no email, nothing like that. So they'd just send letters. Even though I haven't had good experiences with long distance in the past, that I wouldn't be like, long distance never works, because, you know, it worked.
How, if at all, do you think being apart in this pandemic can make us stronger?
I feel like we've always had a pretty strong relationship, so it doesn't feel like all too much has changed.
If we can survive a pandemic, you know,
yeah, it's whatever.
Anything at us.
It's difficult to measure how we would have grown had things been different, but I'd definitely say the overall trajectory is up.
What do you think it takes to maintain a long distance relationship?
Communication.
Communication.
Definitely the ability to articulate your feelings through words, because the subtleties in body language or facial expression don't really translate.
I think also regularity adds to that, like calling pretty regularly.
But that doesn't mean like constant communication. It just means like know that you don't need to constantly communicate to be okay, but also know that, you know, you still should check in on them and be in contact with this person.
Are we considering visiting each other in the near future?
Well, it may be someone's birthday in about a week or more, so there may be someone going to see the other person on their birthday, but who knows?
I think yes.
We have no concrete plans, but it's definitely in the works.
So we're trying to get Trey to visit like at the end of August. I worry more about him coming to Charleston and him getting COVID-19 just because there are so many cases in Charleston right now. But like, I also really want him to visit, but it's a difficult thing to decide on and to like see what's actually best. I mean, obviously what's best is if he just didn't come, because I don't want him to get sick, but I also want to see him.
How about you just don't come?
No, of course not.
Plan a virtual date together. Movie night. But I dress up a little more and Venmo you $7.50, so it's like we went to the theater. Don't have the lights on behind me, so it's like total darkness. Maybe hire someone in the house, my mom or something, to be like, hey, can you explain the blah 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 really loud during it? And I'll be like, shh, you know, so we're actually it feels like we're in a theater. Make it a realistic theater setting.
Is there In-N-Out where you live?
There is, actually.
What if we had high quality gourmet suit and dress wearing sleeved rolled up In-N-Out burgers that we ate with a fork and knife?
I'd be down.
This is gonna be great.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Now I'm so hungry.
I think like a fun date idea would be like FaceTiming while you're making boba, because I really want you to make boba so that you can relate to my experience of making boba.
I do keep putting that off. I think that, you know, we've talked a lot about when we're back together, if we want to have some kind of like cute picnic, but what if we like both tried to cook the same thing and then ate together over a call? I feel like you'd make it better than me, and the whole time I'd be complaining about how bad mine is.
Okay, so we have a picnic and boba date.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'm free. Thanks for asking.
Awesome.